Hi, I'm Susanna Pagan, Garden Design Gal, and it's that time of year, time to make mini succulent pumpkins. You can include these in your Thanksgiving tablescape or give them out to friends as gifts over the holidays. I'm going to show you in this tutorial in a few easy steps.
Here's the supplies you'll need for this project. Mini pumpkins, glue gun, extra glue sticks, succulent cuttings, or mini succulents that you've bought at the store, spray glue, decorative moss.
Now that you have all your supplies gathered, it's time to pick out a mini succulent pumpkin for our project. I've got a tiger stripe pumpkin here that I got from Trader Joe's, and I have several other pumpkins, these little mini orange ones, but you could also get white ones. I like to get a medium-sized one, particularly for these projects, as you can fit a few mini succulents on there, and it looks a little bit better in a centerpiece on the table. So let me start here with our first step. I've got my mini pumpkin. I need to dress this with some moss. This is decorative moss, which you can get at a craft store. I'm just going to take a little bit of this here, set it aside, and then I'm going to take my spray glue. Here's the spray glue that I got at a craft store, and I'm going to put that on top of this newspaper over here, and I'm going to spray the top of the pumpkin so that the decorative moss will attach to it. If you want to see here what I'm doing, take up the can. I'm going to spray. There you go, doesn't take much. I'm going to set the can aside over here. And then we've got our succulent pumpkin now sprayed. And I've got this moss, you can see here, that I'm going to put on top of the pumpkin. And this really serves as a decorative piece to attach the succulent, little mini succulents to the pumpkin, to the top of the pumpkin. And it doesn't take much. If you really want to clean it up, you can go back and trim the edges with scissors, adjust it if it's a little too messy. So you can see here, from the side it looks like this. From the top, you've got this nice little decorative moss on top. So it's really easy, step one. So step two is we're going to pick out our succulents to go on top and dress it. I generally speaking, I stay away from big succulents like this. If you look at the size of the pumpkin, it would take over the entire thing. Too big. So I go with some minis. So this one, it's a little mini to go on top of there. I've got some other mini, even smaller minis that I've cut from my garden from different succulent plants I have out back. But if you don't have any succulents in your garden, you can buy these at a local nursery. There's even sources online to get succulent cuttings that come already cut like this in little mini pieces that are easy to glue onto the pumpkins. So I'm just gonna get a few and start arranging. Let's see how this looks. I try to get one bigger succulent of the minis to be an accent piece. And then I'm going to pick a couple different extra colors and things to mix in there. You can see I just added a green one. I'm going to add another like little mini green one on the other side. So you kind of have a little mix. And then I've got this guy right here, which I haven't trimmed yet. And you can see it's a little bit too big. So I'm going to take my scissors and just trim off this excess piece. I can put that back in my garden. It will grow in a little pot and eventually turn back into a plant. But we've got this nice little mini succulent here that we can attach. And I'm just going to see how that looks. I'm not quite sure I like that in that space. So I'm going to move it around. Maybe move this one over here. Take a look at this one right here, which I've already cut. I'm going to add that into that space. See if I like the look and feel of it. I've got another one like that here. I try to be somewhat repetitive on some of the succulents. So you can see I've got a little mini grouping going together. Now if I like that, I can decide to glue it on. I'm not sure if I like this layout yet, so I'm gonna play with it a little. I like this one here. I think I want to add some more of these purples and maybe add this one like over here tucked under another one. So I think I'm gonna leave that one to last to glue on as I have some of the others tucked in and glued on. So once I've kind of made a decision on, okay, this is what I'm gonna have on top of my mini pumpkin, I'm gonna glue them on with a hot glue gun. So I'm gonna set these, just take a few of them off and set them to the side. And I'm gonna take my glue gun here and I'm gonna start gluing these guys to the pumpkin, or gals, however you wanna define the succulents. So I've got a decent amount of glue and I'm gonna press that down. I'm gonna spin that around. I'm gonna glue another one down. And don't be shy with the glue. I always have extra glue sticks that I have here, and I'm starting to run a little bit low in my glue gun, so I'm gonna stick one in here to start getting a little melted for when I need to add some more. These tend to fall off if you don't put enough glue in underneath the succulent. You can also, if you don't like stuffing the glue gun underneath the succulent, which I find to be effective, you can turn them upside down and glue right on top of the leaves on the base of the succulent. So I'm gonna press this out. And one of the things you gotta be careful though when you're gluing is that glue is really hot, as well as the end of the glue gun. So you wanna avoid getting your fingers in that. I've gotten some pretty good burns from that. And so you wanna either wear some gloves if you're really worried about that, or just avoid the glue. So right now I'm touching a little bit of glue and it does not feel so great. So that's another reason why I tend to not glue. As you can see, I have a little glue all over my hands here, nice and messy. I tend to glue by sticking them on the pumpkin and then sticking the glue gun underneath, and then I have less chance of getting my fingers burnt. So we've got 3 on here so far, and then we're going to add some more. So looking at my overall layout, I like that. I still want to stick this in here somewhere. I'm going to look at maybe tucking it in. Maybe I can tuck it in over here somewhere as a little accent. Tucked in, and then do another purple one on the other side of it. I like that. So it has a different color tucked into the top. So I'm going to take my glue gun once again, and I'm going to start getting these guys into place. It's really fun to do, a little easy project. I give these out to friends during the holidays, but most of the time what I do is I prep these a few weeks before Thanksgiving. If I didn't get around to it during the October holiday, during Halloween and whatnot, I start putting these together a few weeks before, so that then I can do a centerpiece for my table for Thanksgiving, and it really looks great. So I'm tucking in another one right here, making sure it's secure without pressing too hard. They do tend to break off when you have some of the delicate ones, like these guys right here, the jelly bean ones, they tend to fall apart, so you have to be very careful when you glue them on. So right now I have a good number of succulents on here. I'm just checking to make sure they're all attached really well. And then I'm gonna go back with some smaller ones. You can see these little ones, and this might actually be part of a jade plant. I'm gonna take these and start just tucking these little cute mini cuttings in. They're a little bit more delicate in a lot of cases, so you have to be careful. I'm gonna put some more glue in there. And here's another one. I'm gonna tuck it in on, well, maybe this side between these two. So you can see I tucked that one in there. Got a little glue on my fingers in the process. but it's looking nice. Things are starting to come together. I've got another one of these little mini aeoniums. They're pretty cute, off of a bigger plant I have out in my garden. And I'm gonna glue that right on this space right here where I think it's gonna look nice sticking out. So the goal is just to tuck in really small ones to create a nice masterpiece. And you've got, you know, little glue pieces you can take out of here, that little stringy glue that you can remove when you're all done. Don't worry about that while you're working on it. I've got this really cute, I think it's in the Crassula family, succulent right here that I trimmed, that I'm gonna stick in here. It's a nice little lime green with a little tinge of orange on the edges. I'm gonna stick that in there. I think it looks nice. I've got a couple of those I can tuck in. I think I like this coming out of the top of the pumpkin potentially. Just do a little nice little tuck in there. I think that looks cute. And what do we have here? Here's another one. Let's see if we can find a good spot for that. I think that would look nice too, right in there. So you can see I've got quite a few succulents tucked in here. Looks pretty now. Now I'm gonna look and see, is there any spots I wanna add a few more? I think I've added quite a few for the size of the pumpkin. These mini ones don't take much, which is nice as far as the cost savings with if you're buying the succulents. I'm lucky out here in Southern California, we can have our succulents outside year round, and they do not die from the frost unless you're in an area that gets really cold at night. Some of the inland areas out in Escondido, Fallbrook, those areas that get some colder temperatures, they still have to look at those succulents not making it through some of those frosts. But here, I'm closer to the coast and they love it here year round. So I've got some things here I'm like pulling off, little pieces of glue. You're just gonna have a little messy area that you're working in. I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna trim off of some of these pieces that are hanging off. So when I feel happy with the overall look and feel, and I've cleaned it up a little bit, I have got officially my mini succulent pumpkin. And I can set it in with my centerpieces, and I'm gonna show you that in a second. And here we have it. Here's our mini succulent pumpkins in our Thanksgiving tablescape. Looks nice. And it's starting to get all set up for Thanksgiving next week. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And Garden Design Gal out.